Hi, I'm Nadia Dunn. Welcome to CCL TV. We're here at the eCommerce Berlin Expo, and joining me is Neil from Global E. Neil, thanks so much for being here today.
My pleasure.
Now, can you tell us a bit about the company and your role there?
Yes, I can. So I'm the European CEO for Global E. I've been with the business for coming up to 5 years. And effectively what Global E do is we are a technology platform that works with brands to build into their existing e-commerce platform to provide localization services. And what that does is it helps the brands really maximize their cross-border direct-to-consumer conversion rate by taking away all of the horrible friction points that a consumer sees when they're trying to buy from a cross-border brand.
And what's your USP?
Well, we're the only platform that can really do a combination of being able to provide full localization in terms of languages, payment methods, duties, tax calculation, shipping, returns, fraud management. And then as well as the technology, we've also got a huge amount of data. Because we're working with over 650 brands around the world, transacting to 200 countries, we'll do getting close to $2.5 billion worth of GMV on behalf of those brands in 2022. We've got a huge amount of data that allows us to know what works best in each market. So we can tell if a brand really wants to optimize their conversion rate, how should they manage tax and duties, what should they do with their shipping, where should they position their free shipping thresholds, which payment methods do they need to use. And the combination of the two is what drives the conversion rate.
And how can you help other e-commerce and supply chain companies that are here at the event, and how can they help you?
Well, effectively, what Global E does when we work with a brand by taking away those friction points is it will increase the conversion rate for cross-border transactions by around 60%. So any brand or any company that's here at the Berlin Ecom Expo that is looking to genuinely be an advisor to their brands and a partner to their brands will become more successful by working with Global E, because effectively it takes away all the bad user experience things. And therefore often you find that if you're a logistics company, if we help a brand grow their conversion rate by 60%, that means they sell 60% more parcels, which means they move more. If you're a fulfillment company, it does the same. If you're driving traffic to brands, then it helps them convert in a much higher rate. So generally it's often a win-win-win.
And with e-commerce showing no signs of easing up, how can we educate and support people at this event?
Yeah, it's an interesting environment in the world at the moment, because e-com is growing and cross-border e-com is growing faster than domestic e-com. But at the same time, we've got this cost of living crisis around the world. You've got threats of recession, you've got the war going on, you've got all kinds of challenges. So many brands are actually feeling a slight softening in terms of some of their domestic demand. And so at this time, we've got a lot of brands who are really pushing hard to go, right, then I need to make full use of my global customer base.
And within these forums, events, conferences, does the topic of cross-border customs duty compliance with iOS and duty drawback ever come up? I'm sure it does.
Yeah, it does all the time. The sad thing about the world at the moment is that you would hope that cross-border challenges would be coming down, but in fact barriers to trade are going up at the moment. You look at what happened with Brexit last year, you look at the various trade wars going on, so it's often getting harder and harder to transact cross-border. And so what Global E do by becoming the merchant of record on export on behalf of a brand means that actually we then take all of the pain of the cross-border, the IOSS, the duties, the duty drawback wherever that's possible, the state sales tax, the VAT, all of those regulatory requirements become Global E's concern rather than the brands.
And what about internationally? How are people affected?
In what sort of way?
So the challenges for retailers and brands selling internationally.
Selling internationally is often people go, yes, I do domestic, my local market, and I sell internationally. But selling internationally is actually 200 different countries that transact very differently, even if they're geographically close by. USA and Canada, completely different. France and Germany, even the consumer buying behavior is very different. Same with UAE and Israel, New Zealand and Australia. And so to be able to fully tap into your cross-border customer base, you've got to be able to localize each individual market independently. And that's so hard to do. Many brands find that they can go part way down that journey and do a few of their biggest countries, but to genuinely be able to localize to every market is incredibly difficult.
And tell us about the presentations here at the Expo today. You had a presentation this morning, right?
We did. We invited one of our customers, AD, who came along, and they do luxury shoes, really nice stuff, made in Italy, German brand based in Berlin. And they talked through what they'd done and their growth journey through using globally and how they've grown internationally. I've been around a few of the other the sessions, and it's been really interesting to see there's such a group here of diverse, different businesses doing all kinds of things related. And I think it's a real learning journey for me to be able to sit and see all these brands and what they do that are really at the forefront of cutting edge technology.
So if you could use one word to describe the event, what would it be?
Well, I never use one word when I can use more, but let me think. I'd say dynamic.
Great, perfect. And what do you think about CCL TV being here at the event?
Well, it's great. The more opportunities we can get to spread the word about what's happening in a physical event, and it's great to be back face to face at last. But there's still what's interesting is now the hybrid between physical events and being able to make those physical events digitally available to as many people around the world as possible. So anything like this where you're able to interview the people here and spread that word around is fantastic.
Absolutely. Well, it's been great to have you. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
And good luck with the rest of the event.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.